classes first. We're here to celebrate the life of the matriarch of our family, Gloria Deming. And because we're only our immediate family here today for the service, I'm going to direct my eulogy to our broader community of family and friends, because many of them could not be here either because of COVID or because of distance. And I didn't write a eulogy, I wrote notes. And I will try to speak from the Spirit. First and foremost, my mother was always late. We always like to say that. And in the tradition of always being late, my sister was late. Thank you. Somebody had to be late. Mom was 15 minutes late to Dad's funeral. And we loved that about her. But what I really want to talk about with my mom, first and foremost, was the last year of her life. My mom went through extraordinary circumstances. She ended up in the hospital in March, and her path from there till she passed at the end of September was one full of determination. And she was in the hospital, and she was in assisted living, and she was back in the hospital, and back and forth. And through it all, she was what I call the force of nature. Whenever I would talk to her caregivers, I would always tell them, you know, she knew her mind. She was fully minded. There was nothing senile about her. She knew everyone, knew everything that was going on around her the whole time. And she was truly a force of nature. Her desire to keep moving was strong. And during the last years of her life, she had been alone a lot, especially after Dad passed and COVID was going on. Her circle had gotten very small. And ending up in assisted living the last few months turned out to be a blessing for her. She had all these young girlfriends. She called them her girls, my girls. And they all came to really love her. They had beautiful things to say since Mom passed. And I wanted to mention them in this eulogy because they were integral to her last months. And they were good months for her in many ways. She had people around her for the first time. In most of her life, she was always a loner. And her girls, she just really got a lot out of having those friendships, and I was grateful that she had that at the end of her life. And while she was there, her girls also got to know her like we did, and that's the things I like to talk about with her. Little things. I was picking up at the house the other day, cleaning up all the random plastic lids that she collected. She always saved things to cover things, to make plastic lids and jars, and I'm sure that the people at assisted living battled with that too, trying to get her to put her stuff in the garbage. I just loved that she was always covering things. She always wanted to keep everything tidy. She was a refrigerator pack rat. She had all her food and everything all packed in there. Food was so important to her. It surrounded everything we did. We had family feasts where we all came together. We're all here today. We're going to have a feast in her honor with all the foods we always ate when we got together. And I think it's lovely that we've been able to do that today, to replicate what would have normally been our normal family feast. Mom, I used to tell people that she dealt with at the hospital and at the assisted living because she hated their food. And I'd tell them, she's like Marie on Everybody Loves Raymond. No one can cook but her. And nobody's food is right except for hers. And they came to appreciate that, I think, and worked with her. A lot of the girls told me they would help her fix her little treats that she liked so that she got to have her favorite snacks and things. But she was fussy about everything. And as a family, we knew that. The colors had to match. The things had to be right. The symmetry had to be there. Everything had to be just so. And in recent time, my daughter coined the phrase, getting your Gloria on, and it's become just a well-loved catchphrase. And the girls at the assisted living grabbed right onto it and loved it too. It was so true that Mom had a certain way, and when you get fussing and want everything to be perfect and beautiful, you think of Gloria. You're getting your Gloria on. She was, I don't want to repeat the stuff that was in her obituary because everybody was able to see that. I'm trying to think of things that I can share that were particularly poignant, they're special.
We forgot that she sewed.
She sewed?
Her sewing.
Oh, I put that in the obituary though, that she passed it on to all of us, the love of sewing. She sewed her clothes. definitely. But yes, she sewed right up until she went in the hospital. I was still threading needles for her, and she would always try to at least do her alterations and things. And that meant a lot to her. She was losing her eyesight, and the fact that she was still able to hem a pair of pants or to mend something or adjust something meant a lot to her. She was, I go back to it, she was a force of nature. She knew her mind, and you could not tell her otherwise. If she was adamant about something, there was no sense in trying to change her mind about it. And she was forceful in that, and I respected it. And I used to tease her because astrologically she's an Aries, ruled by Mars, the god of war and fight and energy, and I would tease her that she was getting her Mars on when she would get into a thing. She was very angry that she couldn't take her vitamins to assisted living. She was surrounded by vitamin bottles. All the family knows that. She has vitamins everywhere. The house is full of them. And I noticed that when I was there the other day getting ready for today, that there's hundreds of vitamin bottles around the house. But that's what got her where she was. She made it to 93 as a smoker without being on oxygen, without having any real health problems. And if she hadn't had several falls, she probably would have lasted quite a bit longer. But unfortunately, a physical event like a fall couldn't be fixed by vitamins, unfortunately. Mom spent a lot of time with my sister and her family. She could have never made it through these last years without Ginny and Ed and Dan being down the street. I don't know how she would possibly manage. She couldn't have. It is such a blessing that they came up to Vermont when they did during the COVID outbreak, and we managed to piece together a way of supporting her life so that she was able to stay in her home right until just before her 93rd birthday. And she was a good sport those last years, which I really appreciated because she was going through so much. But the girls at the assisted living commented on that she was very good humored and made everybody laugh. And she was a little spitfire. For those that might hear this that didn't know my mother personally, but her friends, she was about 4'6" at the time of her passing. She had shrunk quite a bit. And that's what made her feistiness maybe so funny in a way. She gave us all a love of art and music. She played the piano. The last time she played the piano was on a visit to her house in May. And poignantly enough, I captured the last part of the last end of the last song she ever played on her piano on my phone video. And I did not know at the time that it would be the last time she played. And when I come across it definitely makes me tear up. I was glad that she was able to play for her whole life. She loved her piano. She had a beautiful Steinway, and she cherished it. And she passed on that love of piano to her granddaughter. Laura plays amazing and has played for us and brought Mom the music that she's looking at in this picture from Christmas 2 years ago. I thought that was a really special picture of her. And I'm kind of rambling. It's been kind of that kind of a day. I got off to a good start, and when we were halfway here, I realized I'd forgotten integral things that we needed, so that kind of threw me off. And the rain certainly had me worried. I was here Thursday and prepared. All I could think of was the Bible verse on the way here Thursday afternoon. I go to prepare a place for you. And it's ironic because it was something I said to Mom a number of times the last day of her life when I knew she was getting close. And I assured her that her faith was real and that Jesus had promised that he had gone to prepare a place for her and that Dad was waiting and that she had kept Dad waiting their whole marriage, 70 years of keeping Dad waiting. And I was teasing her about it. And I came and I prepared a place out in the garden Thursday before the rain so that we'd have a place to put Mom's ashes next to Dad's. And today is literally 2 years. Being Saturday, it's 2 years to the weekend that we put Dad in the garden out here, because it was the 21st of October today, and he was buried on October 23rd, which was the Saturday 2 years ago of this weekend. So they were about 2 years apart in age, and she passed 2 years after him. And I struggled to think of what I've missed because there's so many things I could say, and I know I shouldn't make this an hour long. it will be a hard shoe to fill, because I now become the matriarch of this family, being the oldest female in this line. And I'm hoping that I can do right by her with the rest of my life and do the things that she respected and thought were important, to continue to give to charity. She was incredibly charitable. She gave to dozens and dozens and dozens of charities regularly, religiously, and it meant a lot to her, and her mother had also done that. And so that's an important part of our family that I hope to continue in her honor. And I hope that we can continue to stay together as a family regularly and honor both my mother and father in their passing. They gave us a really strong foundation to live off of. Good morals and ethics, love for family, love for home, love for sports and skiing and music and art and reading and gardening and cooking. I mean, all the things. Our life was very full and well-rounded of all the things that were important. And hopefully, as a family, we can continue that legacy. And I'm sure I'll wish I'd said 100 other things, but I'm going to stop rambling now and let Reverend Bruce finish the service. And may Gloria rest in peace with Dale out in the garden.